Dust was blowing through the Oklahoma plain, and the banks were taking everything but the family names. A man named Charles Arthur had a different kind of plan, with a heavy iron heater and a steady cowless tan. They called him Pretty Boy, though he hated that disguise. But he looked right through the ledger with a fire in his eyes. He didn't just take paper. He didn't just take gold. He looked at all the mortgages that kept the people roll. Burn the papers down. Let the ants begin to fly. Set the tenant farmers free beneath the heavy country sky. They call him an outlaw. The lawman's greatest foe. But to the hungry and the broken, he's the only friend they know. A shadow in the badlands, a desperate driving force, an anti-hero riding on a dark and lawless course. From the west out to the central states, the headlines started growing while the BOI was chasing trails of dust and gravel blowing. The people kept their mouths shut when the agents came to pry. Cause Charles burned the dead away and waved to last goodbye. But Melvin Purvis through the line, the net was closing tight. No more running through the cornfields in the middle of the night. Jimmy's Liverpool, he stumbled with its luck all running thin. And the local boys were waiting just to watch the end begin. And Kern held their rivals in the cold October air. They brought him down in Ohio, left him bleeding there. From the fatal flying lead to the cold and bombing table, he was the mortal man turned into a modern fable. Was he just a killer or a victim of the times? A tragic son of the depression, paying for his crimes. October winds are blowing now, the smoke has cleared away, but they still remember brave boy Floyd and the deaths he burned that day.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Hump Day. Happy Wednesday. Hope you guys can hear me. Today, we're doing more of our Public Enemy #1 series, and we're going to be talking about Charles Pretty Boy Floyd. Before we start, we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping. Donations are never required, always appreciated. Cash App at TC Maylin. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel today. I am up to 101 subscribers. I could not be any happier. I was crying when I got that notification for 100. So it was an amazing feeling. And I thank each and every single one of you that come and are subscribed. And I love everybody who watches. I love doing that stuff. Love getting into good. Thank you. I love getting into doing all the gangsters and the history and the serial killers. It's so much fun. And on Mondays, I cover current true crime case and love getting into that. those. And then I also stream Trial Watch with Angie. Right now we're doing the Lori Daybell Arizona trial, the second one, on her, both of our channels. And then Friday nights, I will be on with Angie on her channel only for Friday night talk shite. And then at 8 p.m. and then 10 p.m. I'm on with Scarlett and Joy and Hippie Chick. And we just on Scarlett's channel, and we just have a great time. And I love anybody who could pop by. And Thursday nights is a really big night for both me and Angie. We both have been invited to be on Sparkly Rabbit's channel and get interviewed by her. Thank you, brother. Oh, it didn't show up. It's a red finger one. So holding up number one. So thank you. And so that's really, really exciting. Today we're talking about Charles Pretty Boy Floyd. On Friday morning, we were going to talk about Julia Tofana. She is the founder of Aquatofina, and she is credited with killing over 600 men and yet never met a single victim back in the 1600s. It's going to be a great time. And then next week, our stories, I want to visit the Dr. Tepe and Monique Tepe story. That's one that I've been following. So I want to talk about it. I'm ready to talk about it. And then Wednesday, we're actually going to go to Bugsby Seagull. One of my chihuahuas named Mugsy after him. And also when he was born, he fit into a coffee mug. So it's kind of a combination. So I'm excited for that one. And then next Friday, we are actually going back to Canada. And we're going to be talking about Paul Bernardo and Carla Komolka. I don't know if I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to pronounce that, but real excited for that next week for those. If you have a current case you would like to hear, maybe you just want to get it out there, not enough people talking about it, you can email me at tcwmalin@gmail.com. You can also follow me on X at tcmalin and send me a DM on X. Or, if you're on Discord, any of the Discords that I'm in, you can add me as a friend on there and send me a DM on Discord too. I do not have my own Discord channel yet. Maybe something in the future, but as of right now, I'm kind of a little overwhelmed with starting my channel and then helping Miss Scarlett and Angie with their channels. And it's the end of the year. I am a band juniper mom. So tonight this afternoon after I do this and jump on with Angie, I am turning these into little, I don't want to show you the name, but into little pots with fake flowers in them for the seniors that are graduating. So we have our band banquet tonight. So busy mom outside of this. So I may start a Discord in the future. Might be cool. We'll see. But without further ado, let's get to the main story why everybody is here today. We're going to talk about Charles Pretty Boy Floyd. Charles Arthur Floyd was born on February 3rd of 1904. He was born in Ayersville, Georgia, and his family lived there until 1911, and then they moved to Atkins, Oklahoma. Charles did come from a really large family. He had 2 brothers and he had 4 sisters. Now, when Charles was 18, he did receive his first arrest. He was arrested for stealing $3.50 from the local post office. It doesn't sound like a lot. Converts over to about $300 today. So back in back then, it would have been 19, let me do the math. 1916 is when he was first arrested. And he stole the $3.50. Spent a little bit of time in jail, got out. And then 1925, he was arrested again. This time, he was for payroll robbery. And then he was sentenced to 5 years. He only did 3.5 years before he was paroled out. Pretty typical of our justice system still today, letting a lot of people out early because of overcrowding. After he got paroled out, he moved out to Kansas City, Missouri, and he started making friends with the criminals in the criminal element out in that area. And he had a lot of fun getting together, making his own gang. And they started robbing banks. And this is around the time that Charles actually started to receive the name Pretty Boy. Now, one thing I'm going to note here, Charles hated the name Pretty Boy. You'll find out why he was named that later. Well, actually, in a few minutes. Charles had a particular way he dressed. He had a particular way he carried himself. He was a very handsome man, very attractive. So the first account that says Orville Drake gave Charles the nickname Pretty Boy because he never saw Charles in just regular clothing. Charles was always dressed to the nines, dressed for the Ritz. He always wore white button-up shirts and slacks to work in the oil fields. He wasn't working in offices. He was doing manual labor and working with the oil fields. Sorry. And that was odd. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'd be wearing, dinner clothes to go work in the oil fields myself, but that was Charles's thing. And so, Orville Drake was like, "You're such a pretty boy," and the other guys on the rigs, they caught on. They started calling him that. And then another account is the payroll robbery that he was caught for. A person is quoted, the payroll master was quoted of saying one of the robbers was a pretty boy with apple cheeks. Those just cute little pinchable cheeks, you see them, the toddler cheeks. You just want to pinch your little cheeks because they're so cute. Charles had them as an adult. He didn't like it. He really, really, really did not like that nickname. By 1929, Charles was the main suspect in many robbery cases, bank robberies around the top northwest of America. And then Charles was arrested again on March 9th of 1929 in Kansas City during an investigation. They caught him and arrested him. And then they released him. And then on May 7th, he was arrested. May 7th of 1929, he was arrested again for vagrancy and suspicious of highway robbery. Then Charles was released again the very next day. So now, during this time period, during this time period was a really rough period, getting ready to go into World War I. Things were really rocky before the Great Depression. I don't really remember what year it started, but I know it was around the 20s, 30s, and 40s. This is when, bank robberies were big because people were broke, and a lot of these bank robbers were considered Robin Hood types, but they weren't really giving to the poor. They were robbing and keeping. So, yeah. Yeah. It was a really rough time in America as well. Just because of the Depression, things get sanctioned, things get in quantity limits, you couldn't make clothing out of stuff that they could use in wartime for like parachutes and stuff. It was a lot of resources were no longer available. Women were having to go to work. A lot of people were starving to death. It was a bad time in America. Now, remember, he was arrested on May 7th, released on May 8th, arrested again on May 10th for vagrancy. This time it was in Pueblo, Colorado. So they just fined him $50 and gave him 60 days in jail. He served it. He was out. And then he went about his life for the next year. And then on March 8th of 1930, Charles was arrested in Akron, Ohio, for the murder of an Akron police officer. Now, the police officer was murdered earlier that day during a bank robbery that Charles was involved in. And he did stay in jail. And then on November 24th of 1930, he was convicted of a bank robbery in Sylvania, Ohio. He was sentenced to 12 to 10 years in Ohio State Penitentiary. But as typical as at this time it was, he escaped. I apologize, just 1 second. Hi, baby. Thank you for coming. Oh my gosh. Hi. Thank you, guys. Oh my God, I'm getting raided by Broken Baker. Hi, Kiwi Granny. Good to see you. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Hi, Genuine. And Side Eyes. And Zach. Hey, that Paul guy. Oh my gosh. Yes, please smash the like. Block Zach. Block Zach. You are with TC Mayland, and we're in Ohio right now. Yes, I do love these raids. Oh my gosh, this is my first one. It's gonna make me cry. Oh my gosh, I'm so out of today too. Thank you. Yes, thank you so much, Genuine. Yes. Hi, Terry. Yeah, thank you. Gosh, yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. Hello, Debbie. Hey, Lolly. Happy tears, no drama. This is not. I do magic tricks. I didn't do the magic tricks. I was the assistant, and I got into the boxes and distracted people while Van Doren did the magic tricks. You know what? I'll share those pictures again before we end today, okay? For those of you that don't know, I am a retired magician's assistant. I retired back from that in 2015 when I moved to Ohio. And thank you so much. You guys. Thank you guys so much. Oh my gosh. Thank you. I'm in the Dayton area, about 45 minutes outside of Dayton. Thank you guys. Yes, that is something you don't see on everybody's resume. That was a very unique job I had, but it was so much fun. So yes, I will definitely, after we get through Pretty Boy Floyd, I will definitely share those magic pictures again. Hi, Stephen. You are it with TC Maylin. How are you doing? I'm doing good. Thank you. Yes. Guys, I'm so, thank you guys so much. Okay. All right, we're going to get back to Pretty Boy Floyd. Thank you so much. Wally and Bull Ash were found murdered in a burning car on March 25th of 1931, and it is believed that Charles was involved with that. Now, I didn't, but when the rabbit came out, I did hold the rabbit, which was very unique for me. It was a really weird rabbit. His name was Oreo, and the only rabbit I actually ever liked. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Oh, really? That is so cool. Thank you. Yeah. The band kit got this made for me tonight after I'm done with all my streaming. My youngest son has a band banquet that I am going to go and help set up. So I'm already dressed for it, so I don't have to worry about that part. But thank you. Yes, I love this color. It's my favorite color. Um, okay, we're going to get back to this. Now, members of Charles's gang did kill the patrolman H.R. Castor of Bowling Green, Ohio on April 23rd of 1931 during Yes, yes. This is actually going to be our last one. My son got accepted into the tech high school here, and he for graphic design, and so unfortunately, this is his last year of band because the schedules don't align. But so it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet. And we're saying goodbye to all of our seniors tonight. Oh my gosh. And a couple of cash up. Oh, thank you so much. Zach, keep your pants on, okay? Healthish Haven said so. Thank you so, so much. And you'll see I did steal your idea. I love this, and I have my little appreciation for it too. So, thank you so much, Hellfish, for that. Definitely always appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Yes, band nerds unite. Actually, the band in our school is like the cool kids. It's so funny. They are the best, though. I love them. I love them all. We are at TC Maylin. We are in Ohio right now talking about Pretty Boy Floyd's you know, into, becoming public enemy #1. So thank you guys. Yes, thank you. I'm very excited. Yes. Yes, and everybody hydrate. Yes, thank you so much for subbing. Thank you so much. I'm very, very proud of him. He's a really good drummer, and he's working on actually some songs, some videos for songs his dad and him wrote together for my channel. And as soon as they're up, they're going to be my intros and outros. Yes, they do. I love all my nerds. Moni. Aw. I played flute in the 6th grade, but I wasn't very good either. I have no musical talent. Hey, Katie. Yes. All right, we're going to get back to this. Thank you guys so much. Okay. Now we're back. Oh, we're in Missouri now. Gosh, that was hard to say. On July 22nd of 1931, Charles killed this is the first kill that is known. He killed his first FBI agent, Curtis C. Burke, in Kansas City, Missouri. Yes. Yes. Pretty Boy was a joke name. He got it on the oil rigs because he always wore white button-up shirts and slacks to work on the oil rig. Oh, yeah. I love the saxophone. Hi, Noodles Mom. Thank you guys for coming. I do love the saxophone. My middle son actually goes to Ohio State in their jazz music theory program. He doesn't play, he plays the guitar, but there's always so many saxophone players. And one of his best friends in the program is a sax player. Oh, that is cool. You know, people that play multiple instruments like that. My husband does. He does several. Oh my gosh. We have one when she's graduating this year. She is teeny tiny. I think she's like 4'8" or 4'9". And she did the quints, bass drum, and the snare. Now, Vivi, my husband played the tuba in marching band. Oh, you still play them? That's good. That's cool. Yeah, I wouldn't either. Division band has all qualified fire sniper rifles, so they could. Oh, really? Now that is cool. That's awesome. I can't sing either. Wow. Clarinet, bassoon, trumpet, bari sax, and drum major. Wow. You would love our music room or my dad's studio. He has everything in it. There are so many talented people. Oh, wow. The youngest plays the radio. Yeah, I always play the radio. Wow. Band rats. Yes. Side Eyes is a very smart cookie. I love her. Oh. We'll think about it. Oh, okay. All right. So back to Charles, pretty boy. While trying to arrest Charles on April 7th of 1932, a former sheriff, Irv Kelly, in McIntosh County, Oklahoma. Well, he escaped him. I didn't finish that one. And then in November of 1932, Three members of Charles's gang tried to rob the Farmers and Merchant Bank in Oklahoma, and that was a robbery gone wrong as well. They ended up having a lot of those, though they were not nearly as eccentric or loud as some of the others that we have covered, like Babyface. But despite his crimes, like I said earlier, Charles was viewed in a good light by the public. There were rumors about him that when he would rob banks, he actually would go in and get the mortgage deeds and documents, and he destroyed them. And back in the 1930s, they only had one copy. I played hooky from school a lot too. Love this. Back in the 1930s, they would only have like one copy of it, and if he destroyed it, it was gone. It was no longer existed, and so the loan no longer existed. And so he helped a lot with that. Well, those are rumors. It's never been confirmed, but every single bank he robbed, there was always destroyed mortgage documents. Yes. Yes, you could back then. I mean, things were so much different. Now, and because of how he was viewed in the public, in Oklahoma, Charles was safe. Yeah, so the mortgage was gone. The mortgage was all written down on a piece of paper. The piece of paper is gone. Mortgage is gone. So they no longer had to pay for their house. They had their house free and clear. Right. Yes, and that's why he was considered a Robin Hood type, because he did that kind of stuff, or it's rumored that he did. Highly suspected that he did. Lots of evidence points that way. So I'm going to believe he did. It was a tough time. People needed a break. No, when he went to Oklahoma, he was often protected by the locals there. Because his reputation was he was the Robin Hood of Cookson Hills. So they protected him. Please, hey. I like the book better too. I'm more of a reader than a movie watcher, so I'd rather read the books. Then I can picture it in my own head, and then they don't leave out the important stuff either, like movies do all the time. On June 17th of 1933, a gunfight known as the Kansas City Massacre happened, and four law enforcement officers lost. Hi, Sarah. There's a chat fridge. It's full, and potty pads are down for you, okay? I was hoping you come by. Yeah, I do too. I agree. Now, Charles and Adam Ricchetti they were the prime suspects. Oh, is it? I haven't checked the holiday days. So happy National Nurses Day to any and all nurses. You guys are the heart and the hands of the healthcare system. Without nurses, I wouldn't be here today. So, I mean, I have a great team of doctors. They're great because of their nurses. So Charles and Adam Ricchetti were the prime suspects of this. J. Edgar Hoover used this instance to leverage more agents to pursue Charles, and he got it. But there is a lot of doubt of Charles actually being involved in the Kansas City Massacre. He has never confessed to it. In fact, even on his dying, that's okay. Push all the buttons. Even his dying declaration was that he was not involved. So I'm going to believe that he was not involved. Now, beep, beep, boop. Now the gun. Okay, Polly. So, Paul, thank you so much for coming by. It's very nice to meet you too. Thank you. The gunfight was led by Vernon Miller and several accomplices. They fired on the law enforcement officers that were escorting the robber Frank Jelly Nash to a car. Yes. Big red shiny light button. Yeah, she's here. She came in. See, there she is. Now, they were escorting bank robber Frank Jelly Nash to a car parked at the Union Station in Kansas City, Missouri. Others that lost their lives that day during this massacre was William Grooms and Frank Hermanson. They were both Kansas City detectives. Police Chief Otto Reed, and also FBI agent, Special Agent Ray Caffrey. They were all victims that day and lost their lives. Frank Nash, the one they were trying to rescue, also lost his life that day. Now, talk about smart. These other two Kansas City police officers, two Kansas City police officers did survive and were not injured. When the bullets started flying, they slumped over in their car and pretended to be dead until it was all over. And then he's just old, not senile yet. Give him another year. Now, so while all this was happening, another officer showed up from behind the gang, and started firing on them, and the gang just scattered everywhere. No, there's plenty. There's 2 shelves full of sandwiches. Vernon Miller, who was the leader of this one. Yes, only ham sandwiches, though. We only give ham sandwiches because they're nefarious. We only do nefarious things here. Hi, Dar. Thank you for coming. Now, Vernon Miller, the one who orchestrated this rescue, he was found dead in Detroit, Michigan on November 27th of 1933. He did not die because of the Kansas City massacre. Aww. What kind do you want? He was actually found beaten and strangled. Now, hey, you told me to get the goat cheese. Now, Charles and Adam were supposedly Vernon's accomplices that day. Both have vehemently denied it. And I actually tend to believe that they weren't involved. I think they were together. They were doing something else, but I do not think they were involved in the Kansas City massacre. But that's just my opinion. Now, there is a list of evidence that seems to be quite long that Charles and Adam were Vernon's accomplices. And the list is Charles and Adam were in Kansas City the day of the massacre. While contested, there are eyewitnesses that place them at the scene. Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds really good. Now, Adam's fingerprints were found on a beer bottle in Vernon's apartments. I'm a Navy brat, and I make some stuff that my husband's like, what is that weird contraption? And I'm like, I used to make this for an after-school snack. Like macaroni and cheese and hot dogs and tuna fish. I would put tuna fish in my macaroni and cheese. It was really good. It was really good. Kind of like a poor man's tuna noodle casserole. All right. Now Adam's fingerprints were found on a beer bottle in Vernon's apartment. Now they were friends, so it doesn't necessarily, and fingerprints can be left at any time, so it doesn't necessarily mean he left them that day. And then there's a whole other underworld accounting of Charles and Adam being there that, involved, and that they were the actual gunmen. You're not, well, weird, it's cool. So. Aw. Weird is cool. Now, and J. Edgar Hoover stood firm on the fact that he truly believed they were involved in the Kansas City massacre. There was a fellow bank robber, Alvin Karpis, who's claimed that Charles confessed to him. He claimed that Charles was injured during the massacre, was shot in the right shoulder, but later on, when they did the autopsy of Charles, he did not have an injury like that. There was no such wound on him, no scarring, no evidence of ever having been shot the way Alvin was saying he was. And then there are also the underworld accountings that says no, Charles and Adam were not involved. Oh wow! We'll add that to the list. All right, sweetie. Thank you so much for stopping by. Detroit. That sounds so interesting. Purple Gang. And I love their name. Can I become a member? Just because I like their name? Not really. I'm a huge purple fanatic, if you can't tell. Now, Charles's own family, remember he had a very large family, 2 brothers and 4 sisters. They all said he admitted to all the other crimes that he did commit. They did. I actually covered that under John Dillinger. So one of the things that J. Edgar Hoover did was he actually made an entire system centralized for fingerprints. So it was a lot harder back then to do it because they would have to do it all by hand. So it was a lot harder, but they did use fingerprints. All these, these cards, these are all his fingerprinted cards. Oh, not that one. That was a wanted poster. That's an arrest record. Yeah. So he got fingerprinted several times. No, I have not. I will be adding that to my list too. So, see. Awesome. Yes, yes, they did. Yes, yes, they did. Yes, they did. I'll still do it. I'll still do it. I love history and um I love history. I love digging into it. I love looking at some of the bad parts of history. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's like, so I, because I believe if you don't learn from history, you're going to repeat it. And I've seen in my life, that kind of stuff happening. So learning from history and learning from what, what people did uh, actually helps me be a better person, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. It's my brain. Um, Charles's family said that Charles admitted to him. Now, Al Capone was actually really, really picky. Like he kicked Babyface out because Babyface was too violent. So they're violent. I can see him doing that. I actually have really, yeah. Yes, please, if you haven't. Thank you so much, guys. Oh, hush. Love you, brother. Um, his family said that he admitted to a lot of his crimes, but he vehemently denied having that too. Hi, G. Thank you for stopping by. We're talking about Pretty Boy Floyd. I've been calling him Charles. He denied it. Adam's family said the same thing. He admitted to everything he did, but he said he was not there. He was with Charles that day, but he was not with Vernon that day. That, they had been to Vernon's apartment. I do too. I do too. It is a passion for me. And that's if anybody heard my story, I was saying, it's taken me years to get this started. Um, oh, cool. That'd be interesting to find out. Um, to the sewers. I get a little snarky sometimes. I am a redhead. Good morning, James. How are you this morning? Oh, wow. Yes, yes. I am definitely digging into them. That is a promise. I'm very interested. Um, Now, so Charles also on June 30th of 1933. Yes, yes, it is. Thank you. I've been practicing it. In June 30th of 1933, Charles did send a postcard to the Kansas City Police Department. And what the postcard said, it said, "Dear sirs, I, Charles Floyd, want it to be known that I did not participate in the massacre of the officers in Kansas City. Charles Floyd." And the police believe the postcard is genuine. This is the only time he ever did something like that. He just denied it so much that, and there's really no true evidence other than some other, criminals, that I do believe that Charles and Adam were together on that day. But I also believe that they were not there on that day, not with Vernon. They were hanging out together doing something else. We don't know what they were doing, but they weren't there. And Charles also, denied, like I said, it was his dying declaration. He denied it to the agent that fatally shot him, as he was laying there dying. He was like, I did not do that. So, now, Charles became public enemy number 1 on July 22nd of 1934. Yeah, like nefarious shenanigans is definitely what they were doing. So what happened was the public enemy number 1 at the time, John Dillinger, was killed by federal agents. So as soon as he died, the crown moved over to Charles Pretty Boy Floyd. And Charles was proud of that. That was like his biggest accomplishment in life, was becoming public enemy number 1. Like that was like a badge of honor back then. Me too. And he proudly carried it until his own death. Now Charles and Adam left they, scurrying around. They ended up in Buffalo, New York, and they left there on October 18th of 1934. The next morning, driving down the road at 3 a.m., they slid into a telephone pole. Nobody was injured, but the car was disabled back then. They don't make things like they used to. Now they had 2 female companions with them. Charles did not have a love of his life, because he was just so transient. He was a nomad. He bounced around. He was keeping ahead of the government. We all love Lamoni. He was keeping ahead of the government and stuff. So, but, if he stayed a couple days in town, he'd pick up a female companion. He was a man. So what they did is they sent the 2 female companions back to get it, to walk back to town to get a tow truck. And the plan was for the females to ride back to town with the tow in the car. And Charles and Adam were just going to stay where they were. And then when the car was fixed, the girls were going to bring the car to them. And so that's where they did. They waited on the side of the road. Then just after dawn on October 19th, 1934, a motorist named Joe Freeman and his son-in-law, David O'Hanlon. I apologize for the names. He was definitely a ladies' man, and he was good looking. He never had any problems with it, and he always had cash in his pocket. So, oh yes, we're gonna do more. We got more plans. Yes, I'm so excited. Now they saw the 2 men just laying down side the road. They thought it was weird, and so they called it in and reported it to the Wellsville, Ohio police chief, John H. Foltz. Chief Foltz grabbed 2 other officers, Grover Potts and William Irwin. Adam saw the lawmen and ran into the woods. Adam was pursued by Officer Potts and Officer Irwin, and Chief Foltz approached Charles. Charles just pulled out his gun and started shooting at the police chief and caused a huge shootout. And Chief Foltz was shot in the foot, and Officer Potts was shot in his shoulder. And then Charles fled into the woods. Right? Yes, I take naps on Fridays because I have to do that too. The police enlisted the help of Officer Smith, and Officer Smith. Now, Officer Smith was a sniper during World War I, so that's why they enlisted him. And they began tracking both Adam and Charles. They quickly found and apprehended Adam without any issue, but Charles kept eluding the group. The news for Charles Pretty Boy Floyd traveled fast, and soon the area was saturated with police officers and FBI agents searching for Charles. They even dispatched a team of BOI agents, specialty agents. That didn't come out. Thank you. Yes, I love it. I find it so interesting myself. Now, so he had been hiding out, and then on October 22nd, 1934, Charles had hitched a ride to East Liverpool, Ohio. There, Charles got food at a local pool hall owned by Charles's friend, Charles Joy. There were several different accounts of what happened next. Yeah, so crazy. How did they? Yeah, well, had lots of kids. We know how they entertained themselves. Okay, so there are several different accountings of what happened next. You've got the BOI agents accounting. You've got the police officers accounting. You've got a lot of different accountings of what happened next. And then the local civilians that seen what happened have their own stories of what happened. So, all right, we're going to start with the BOI agent's story. The one thing that everyone agrees on was that Charles was confronted by law enforcement shortly after leaving the pool hall, and he my mom said that too. She grew up with the party lines too. He was confronted right after leaving the pool hall, and he attempted to flee on foot, and he was shot during that time. Yeah, and a lot of these stories I'm running into, part of the pursuit involves horse and buggies. Yeah, so I guess telegrams were a lot better than what we think they were, because they sure did get information across state lines quickly. Aw, thank you. I love them stories too. Just 1 second. Now, soon after running away, he was shot and wounded by the pursuing officers. Nobody knows which one shot him. And he was arrested and placed into custody. Okay, that's what everybody agrees on. Those are the things that everybody agrees on. Now we're going to start with Special Agent Winfred E. Hopton's story of what happened. He starts with saying that no local law enforcement had made it yet when the BOI agents started pursuing Charles and shot him. According to them, it was only 4 agents. It was Special Agent Hopton, Samuel K. McKee Jr., David E. Hall, and Marvin Purvis. The only confirmed killings of his, well, no, there was a couple that he killed too. He did, but most other than the couple. Yeah, they did have those. Oh, you do? Oh, now that is cool. So anybody who can't see, KY Granny's dad, her daddy, I love that, had a 49 Studebaker truck, and it still runs, and she has it today. Yes, we'll be all coming over there as soon as I'm done. I'm closing in on it. We're at the final frontier. Ah, send me a DM or email it to me, and on Friday, I'll show it. Um, now, and the four members of the police department, East Liverpool Police Department, were Herman Roth Jr., Chester Smith, Glenn G. Montgomery, led by a chief, who were all searching the area south of Clarkson, Ohio, and they were in 2 different cars. Awesome, thank you. She's the best. I love her. She's so great. It's so cool. So the BOI agents were in one car, the police officers were in another. The BOI, I don't know why I want to call them BOI agents. They were the ones who found Charles and pursued him, according to Agent Hopton. And what happened is they saw a car peek out of a cornfield and then back in. And then so they slowed down to check. Yes. No, he never went to Alcatraz. He actually never really served any time in prison. He just served a couple of jail stints. And so they stopped to check out this car that peeked out and peeked back in, pulled back in, and Charles jumped out of the car and started shooting at them. So the federal agents pulled their guns and started shooting back on him. And they say that they heard him say, "I'm done for. You hit me twice." Now, in contrast to that, a news report states that Charles crawls out of the corn crib towards a Dyke automobile, and then he changed directions and started going for a wooden ridge. And Purvis yelled, "Halt!" but Charles kept running. Now, this is the news report, so this is a different story of what happened. And then Charles yelled, "Fire!" Or not Charles, but then, Purvis yelled, "Halt!" Charles kept running, so Purvis yelled, "Fire!" And all the federal agents opened fire on Charles, and 4 of the bullets hit him. Then someone placed handcuffs on Charles, and it was reported that Charles said, "Who the hell tipped you?" And Charles refused to answer any of Purvis's questions. But he did say, "I am Floyd. Where is Eddie?" Eddie is Adam Ricchetti. He called him Eddie. I guess Ricchetti. Yeah. Right, just like in the movies. "You got me, you dirty rats." Oh, I'm done for. I don't think so. Now, and Charles thought that, and apparently, according to the news report, Charles thought that he had only been hit twice. And so Charles then said, "You got me twice." And Purvis did not disclose what his last words were. Now, allegedly 4 days before Charles died, Charles and 2 accomplices had robbed a bank for $500. And so when the police searched Charles, what they found on him was his share of the robbery, which was $120. They also found a watch and a fob. Now, this watch and fob had lines in them, like little tick marks, and there was 10. And they believe, on each one, they believe those tick marks are, like notching your belt, notching your bedpost. But were for his but they were for his kills. That was his kill count. Now, okay. So now this is the police chief Smith, his accounting of what happened. He was born in 1904. He died in 1934. So 30? Yeah, he died October 22nd, 1934. So he was 30 years old. So a retired East Liverpool police chief, Chester Smith, explained what happened on the day Charles died in a Time magazine interview in 1979. In his accounting, I'm not sure where that one's from. What's that quote from, Zach? Now his accounting of what happened greatly differs. Remember, yeah, from everybody else. He said that he was the one who hit Charles first. Captain Smith said that he had deliberately wounded Charles. Didn't. Hi, Barbara. Good morning. Oh, yeah. Back then, they did tend to look a little older. So here's his wanted picture. And this is from right before he was killed. Yeah, so Chief Smith, said he hit him twice. He deliberately. Now remember, Chief Smith was the sniper, the World War I sniper. So he said he deliberately wounded him, but was not going for a kill shot. Hi, Red Son. Yes, thank you for coming. We're almost at the end. He said he wasn't trying to kill him. He just wanted to wound him. Captain Smith said, I knew Purvis couldn't hit him. So I dropped him with 2 shots from my 32 Winchester sniper. He's been good. And according to Smith, Charles fell and couldn't get back up. Smith said that he then disarmed Charles, and then Purvis ran up to them and yelled, back away from that man. I want to talk to him. And then, Smith said then Purvis started questioning Charles. Smith said that Charles didn't answer him. He was just cursing at him. And then Purvis ordered Agent Herman Hollis to fire into him. Okay, well, I'll watch it, Zach. And if I see any bullying, I'll take care of you, okay? And Smith said, yeah, oh, yeah. You're always so sweet. Smith stated that Hollis then walked up to Charles and just shot him point blank 2 times. Boom. And killing him point blank. The interview asked Smith if this was an FBI. If this was an FBI covering it up, and he stated of course this is an FBI cover-up. They wouldn't want the way Charles actually died getting out. Well, no, that's true. I don't think they would if that's how they killed him. Now, federal FBI agent Winfred Hopton, he disputed all of, remember he gave the county first, he disputed all of Smith's claims in a letter he wrote to the Times that, and the Times published it. The Times published it on November 19th of 1979. Hopton stated that he was one of the 4 BOI agents. Hi, Angie. Oh, yeah. He was one of the 4 BOI agents present when Charles was killed on the farm several miles east of Liverpool. Hopton stated that the East Liverpool police didn't even show up until after he was mortally wounded. He also claimed that when the 4 agents confronted Hi, Scarlett. Thank you for coming. All of us, I think all of us do. Promise. I promise I'm almost done. He said that when the 4 BOI agents confronted Charles, he had turned to fire at them, and that one of the agents killed Charles quickly. Smith had said that Purvis had Hermas Hollis delivering the fatal shot, but Hopkins claimed Hollis wasn't even there. He wasn't a part of it. Hopkins claimed that Hollis wasn't even there. There was another source that stated that Smith's account wasn't right because Hollis was not on the cornfield that day as well. Thank you. Love you too. Thank you for coming in the cash apps. You guys are so silly. Hollis' FBI profile also does not have any mentioning of him being there that day, where the other 4 agents, there's mention in their, files that they were there. They were a part of it. Hollis's doesn't. So I actually am going to write. He is so wonderful. Actually, I'm going to believe that, Captain Smith's story was not true. Maybe he thought it was. I mean, it was years before he did the interview. So you are fine. No. I love it. So I really don't think that Hollis was there. Hopton, Purvis got the fame, but he also got a lot of hits too with the way he handled the mobsters and the gangsters. Hopton claimed that they also moved Charles's body, Charles to Hopton's car in East Liverpool. After he passed away, Hoover did send all of Charles's personal belongings that were on him. Yeah, they have been. It's fine. I love it. I actually love it. It's great. Hoover did send all of his belongings to his mother, with a memo on October 29th of 1934. Now Charles's body only had 3 bullet wounds in it, 1 in the right forearm and 2 in the lower torso. They did have Charles's body embalmed, and they allowed for a short viewing at Surge's funeral home in Liverpool, Ohio, and then they sent his body back to his family in Oklahoma. There, they had him on public display at Sally Saw, Oklahoma. Somewhere between 20,000 and 40,000 people visited Charles' body. Yeah, the vacuum guy. Thanks, Scarlett. Yeah, I know I'm good at it too. I'll throw something up in her chat just to distract her, and she'll be on a tangent for 10 minutes. It's like, great. I love it. They put his, so Charles's funeral is the largest funeral ever held in Oklahoma history. And then Charles was buried in Athens, Ohio. And that is the story of Charles, pretty boy Floyd. She does. I love her aunts, though. I love them. Oh. So that is the story of Charles Pretty Boy Floyd. Let me know if you have any other questions. Moni's good with the song lyrics. Oh, yeah. And then next week, we are going over Bugsy Seagal next Wednesday at 10:30. Oh, yeah, I promised you guys I would show you these pictures. Let's see. Let me do some of this real quick. And so while I'm pulling up these pictures, thank you so much, Mitchell. Thank you. Yes. Oh, I've never heard that one. All right. So I was a magician's assistant. Those of you who were here earlier heard me talk about it. And then these are some of our promotional pictures from, no. So this is when I was a magician's assistant. This is from the Cumberland County Fair. Actually, I think this was in 2014. And I retired in 2015. So this here is what we call our, that's coming. This is what we call our cube zag. I would climb into this box and he would shut the door. And then this on the top, he would put a big tube that was open in the middle from front to back. And then in the bottom, he would put another tube going side to side. And then underneath thank you so much. And then in the middle of the door, he would put one of those cutting in half blades right through the middle of this. And then he would move the bottom half out to the left. He would hand me a little red handkerchief. And when he moved the bottom half of the box out, I would stick my hand out of this little hole right here on the right-hand side of the box with the red handkerchief. So yeah, that one was a really fun one. We called this the cube zag. It was our version of cutting in half. I have done the real cutting in half in some of our Coliseum shows. It's not nearly as fun as this one. I mean, it's fun, but not as fun. And then this one. This is me, and this is Van Doren. Yeah, the Keepzag. Keepzag. This is, this box that I'm sitting on. He would open it up, and I would climb in, and then he would close it up. And there's a mirror behind, so you can see all around this table. Now, because we were doing this for Kidsville, we had an Alice. Oh, don't worry. I am not telling any secrets. I'm telling you what you can see on the stage. We did do a couple of shows in Kentucky back in the 2014. We did a couple of shows in Kentucky. So this was we did the Alice in Wonderland theme because it was, a children's show. I wore a blue dress, pink headband, and black shoes when I would climb into the box. Then he would close it up. He would put 3 swords in it. That's what these little holes here are for him to put his swords in. One going front to back, one going side to side, one going from top to bottom. And I would change out of my dress into a white dress, change my shoes into white shoes, and change my headband into a white headband. And then I would come out and he would pop confetti. So that was always a lot of fun. These were his 2 favorite illusions. They weren't mine. So we did these all the time, but we did do mine a lot. It was called the dollhouse. And so it was this huge dollhouse that would be on the stage, and he would open the front door of it, and he would put a little Barbie doll that was wearing a red jacket and a little black outfit underneath, the red sequins jacket. Right. No ants. Ooh, beef jerky. That's good. He would put the Barbie doll in there just like I am. And then, Jamie, the Jamie Barbie. Hi, Iris. Thank you for coming. Yeah. Well, right now we're getting ready to go head over to Angie, though. I'm kind of late. Smush. I love that. Smush. I love that. So, and then he would turn the dollhouse around, and then he would open the front, open the door again, and the Barbie doll was on, and it would be a redheaded Cabbage Patch wearing my outfit, the red sequins jacket and the little black outfit underneath. Then he would put the Cabbage Patch doll back in it, and then he would turn it back around. He would open the door, and it would be empty. Then he would close the door and hit the roof, and I would jump out of the top of the roof. That was my favorite illusion to do. So I've done many, many different illusions. We did do 11. I was watching Runkle's stream Monday night, and he was talking about the 2 magicians suing each other. I mean, yeah, magicians are like that. They're very, very petty. They're very, very vain. They're very diva. And when I joined, I heard about that, and and the assistants are too. And I was like, oh, well, no, that'll never be me. I will never do that. Well, I was supposed to have an assistant helping me with our Coliseum shows, and I didn't like her, so I refused to share the stage with her, and so she got fired. She was a bitch though, so I did not think I would ever go diva, and then I went diva. So, hey, Shelly, we're actually just wrapping up. We are just wrapping up. In fact, I am going to grab Angie's link because that's the one that's up and running right now. And I'm going to throw it in the chat. I can't rate anybody, but you guys go over and rate her. And show her love, okay? And I'll be joining in just a few minutes. Thank you, guys. Yeah, true. Okay, yeah. And my princess is yelling at me. She wants to go out too. So go and wrap all this up. definitely enjoyed today. Thank you guys, everybody who came today. The Bakerade. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go cry before I jump on with Angie. I love you guys. Thank you. Always go out with peace and love and peace in your hearts and be beautiful butterflies pollinating everybody's YouTube algorithms. I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming.
Dust was blowing through the Oklahoma plain, and the banks were taking everything but the family names. A man named Charles Arthur had a different kind of plan, with a heavy iron heater and a steady cowless tan. They called him Pretty Boy, though he hated that disguise. But he looked right through the ledger with a fire in his eyes. He didn't just take paper. He didn't just take gold. He looked at all the mortgages that kept the people roll. Burn the papers down. Let the ants begin to fly. Set the tenant farmers free beneath the heavy country sky. They call him an outlaw. The lawman's greatest foe. But to the hungry and the broken, he's the only friend they know. A shadowy in the badlands, a desperate driving force, an anti-hero riding on a dark and lawless course. On the west out to the central states, the headlines started growing while the BOI was chasing trails of dust and gravel blowing. The people kept their mouths shut when the agents came to pry. Cause Charles burned the dead away and waved to last goodbye. But Melvin Purvis through the line, the net was closing tight. No more running through the cornfields in the middle of the night. Jimmy's Liverpool, he stumbled with its luck all running thin. And the local boys were waiting just to watch the end begin. And Kern held their rivals in the cold October air. They brought him down in Ohio, left him bleeding there. From the fatal flying lead to the cold and bombing table, he was the mortal man turned into a modern fable. Was he just a killer or a victim of the times? A tragic son of the Depression, paying for his crimes. October winds are blowing now, the smoke has cleared away, but they still remember Brave Boy Floyd and the deaths he burned that day.